everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Random Chat with Ryan and Toby. Welcome back.
What's up, man?
So we're trying out this video in a different location this time, and we actually picked up some microphones to go with it so you guys could hear us clearly. And so hopefully you guys like that. Hopefully it sounds good. And today, actually first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody who has supported and watched the first two episodes. I'll be honest with you, and I know Toby would probably say the same thing, kind of blown away at the amount of people who have actually watched.
Yeah, I would never think that many people would actually watch.
Yeah, and I mean, I was expecting maybe like 20 or 30 views per video.
Yeah.
And especially the first one getting up to 100 and the other one probably like in the 70s or something now. I did not expect that much in one of these kind of videos because it's not like we, talk about any certain topic like that my channel's about, like popular movies and all that kind of stuff. So I was actually really shocked with the amount of people. And I know there's other people who've watched that haven't commented on the video but have watched through like Facebook and stuff like that. So we just want to thank all of you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the series. So today we are going to talk about, and this is actually going to be a really hard topic to talk about, our top 3 favorite Blink-182 albums. So this is going to be really hard because this is a band that we both love, and we pretty much could think about all their albums in like a really positive way anyway. So like just to narrow it down to like a top 3, and you'll hear us talk about it more, is going to be really hard to do. So
even prior to starting this video, we just discussed each Blink album individually.
Yeah.
And it was just hard to decipher at the moment how would we put our top 3 albums, because for me personally, it fluctuates all the time.
Yeah.
Like what I listen to, what my favorite album is right now might not be my favorite album in 3 or 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always just on a repeat cycle. I just bounce around throughout the albums. And especially what kind of changes my aspect is how the time of year is. I have certain memories of listening to certain albums during the fall season versus the summertime,
And kind of, the same thing for me, because like, especially when it's anything like, when it's any kind of a favorite band or something like that, obviously you like everything they've really put out. Obviously there's some things that isn't nearly as good as other stuff, but it's really hard to narrow down a top 3. So this top 3 video is actually our top 3 at the moment. It might be completely different in 2 months. It might be completely different next week, but it'd still be a fun thing just to even talk about. So I guess we're going to start with number 3. And Toby, if you want to go first, you're number 3.
Oh, number 3 at the moment, I would say is going to be Buddha. Reason being, I don't listen to it as much as the other albums, but like it's always kind of that one album I always fall back on, with the intro being Carousel, and then
And it's
goes
also
to
their
TV.
first album.
Actually, second album.
Oh.
First album was Fly Swatter.
Oh, yeah.
But that's kind of a unknown, like I think it was only 5 tracks. But it's definitely Buddha for me. Carousel, the Girl Next Door cover by Screeching Weasel.
Yeah.
That's always been one of my favorites.
When did that come out?
94, I believe. It was actually, it might have been 93. Because when you look at the copyrights, they actually changed when you look at the cassette versus the CD version. I think the CD version came out in 94, but the cassette came out in 93. I want to say Fly Swatter came out in 91, 92.
So they're like still a local kind of
It
band.
was when they got signed to Buddha Records.
Oh, okay.
They call their album Buddha.
So, yeah, Buddha's a great one. I remember that was one that I listened to a lot, like when we first started hanging out, because I had never heard it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is so raw and like so like old school, but it was epic all at the same time, plus opening with Carousel.
Of course.
So my number 3. Whew. This might be a very controversial choice for some people, but right now I would say my number 3 is California, which there's going to be some people who are watching this that are going to be like, well, that's not really a true Blink album because Tom DeLonge's not in the band anymore. Well, you could look at it that way, but I choose to look at it as 2 out of the 3 original, well, actually technically 1. I mean,
Just
Mark,
being Mark Hoppus.
yeah, Mark is technically the only original member of the band, but as a Blink album, I think it works. And I remember when it came out, you know, the hype was really, really big. You know, Bored to Death was on the radio.
Yep.
It was really, really big, and it was all over the radio. Then the album came out, and, you know, they had a few more singles off of it, but every single song on that album I loved. Like, I wasn't expecting it, because I think up until that point, I think the latest big time album for them was Neighborhoods. I mean, there's a couple singles albums.
But I don't even think Neighborhoods did that well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I bought it when it first came out, and yeah, it's a killer album, but it's just like, I mean, they didn't actually have like any singles really on the radio. I think they had one.
I think it was Up All Night.
Yeah,
I think that was like the single. But, you know, the album itself, you could definitely tell when you read up on it, like, the band was going through a lot of stuff personally, and you could tell that it just showed in the album, because it didn't, to me, like I said, it doesn't feel inspired. But anyways, this part's about California. California, when that album came out, you know, Matt Skiba was, his name's Matt, right?
Yeah.
Not Mike. Yeah, Matt Skiba joined the band, and I was wondering how he was going to be, and I was actually kind of blown away, and I really dig his vocals, and I think he's a great guitar player, and every single song on the album I connected with, especially when they came out with a deluxe edition album that came out with more songs.
Yeah, that's a great album.
Yeah, I think I was going through a lot of stuff personally around that time period, and for some reason that album just connected with me through all that, and I think that's why it like automatically jumped up to one of my favorite albums, just because of what I was going through at the time, and then listening to it, and it made me happy. And it has some really killer songs on there.
Yeah, it does. I love Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a cool ending to an album. I just wish it was longer.
Yeah. And that, because it kind of sounds like an Enema of the State kind of feel. But
it has that like fast punk feel to it, you know?
And I think it was their first album that John Feldman had produced.
Yep. He did awesome. Who
we like from Goldfinger, you know. Yep. And it's funny, if you look at some of the comments like on some of the songs and on the music videos and stuff, people are like, you could tell John Feldman's involved, because there's a lot of hey-o and all this stuff that Mark does and everybody does that sounds like, and some people were like, oh yeah, it just sounds too much like Goldfinger. And I don't know about you, but I'll listen to Goldfinger. I
don't think it sounds anything like Goldfinger.
Somebody said that, and I was like, that sounds nothing like Goldfinger. Like, I mean, John Feldman, I think, produces, doesn't he produce like Ashley Tisdale too?
Yeah.
So are people going to say, oh, she sounds like Goldfinger? I don't know. I think when some people say that kind of stuff, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
When it's not founded and rooted in like any kind of facts or any kind of real opinion. I mean, you could hate something, that's fine, but like when you actually don't have a solid opinion to just like why somebody sounds like somebody, like it's just, because you could go back and hear like other albums, and Mark does the same thing.
Well, it's basically the equipment he uses and the processors he uses, the microphones, his style.
Yeah.
You know, how he likes to filter things in and out. I'm no expert on this. I've just done my fair share of home recordings, and I've, you know, spent time in the studios too, and every producer that you have is always the sound's always gonna be different.
Yeah.
Like if I were going to make an album, it would probably sound more like a garage album, just because that's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
You know?
So, number 2. What is your second favorite?
Second favorite. Well, at the moment, I would have to say Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, because that one's always like a good fallback album. Plus, that was a lot of good times for us, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you can not listen to that album without getting kind of happy. If you're really down or upset, that's like a good album just to put on. And
wasn't there like a, and I'm trying to think of, well, I guess I could go ahead and say this is my second favorite as well, so we could actually talk about it together. But wasn't there a point in time before the album came out where we weren't sure if we were going to like it?
Yeah, exactly. because Enema of the State was like, so good that it was like, how can you follow up with that?
Yeah.
And we were very shocked, actually.
And it ended up being, I mean, when did it come out? 2001, 2002?
Yeah, I think it was 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were, remember they were filming for that one song on 9/11, you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Stay Together for the Kids, was it?
And so, when that album came out, it was all over the radio. It was like I think more mainstream than some people maybe give it credit for. Like, Enema of the State it got really mainstream, but I feel like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket like really catapulted them even further.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, because it was like hit after hit. I mean, wasn't it? It was First Date.
I guess if you want to talk about selling out, I mean, of course, Enema of the State was that, and then this was that, then some.
Yeah.
And then when they came out with the self-entitled album, that was even more further.
Yeah. Which I like that album a lot too. How do you feel about that album?
Yeah, I love that album. It was just like, I would say that I don't have as many favorite songs on there, but overall it's a good album.
So, I'm trying to think of some other memories I have with that album. I do remember we were listening to it non-stop.
The cool thing about that album when it came out, there was 3 different versions.
Yeah.
There was Take Off, then Pants, and then a Jacket.
And they each came with a bonus song.
Exactly. So each version was different. And I remember, I don't know if it's just the area that we live or our shop or whatever, but everyone kept getting the Pants album.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of our friends got a Jacket.
Mm-hmm. I think my brother Joe got a Jacket.
Yeah.
Because I remember when he got it, I was like, whoa, your bonus song's different than mine.
Exactly.
What version is this? But now, like, whenever you buy it, you can't buy the separate versions anymore. It was just literally when it came out, you could buy the songs, I'm pretty sure, maybe.
Yeah.
The separate songs, but...
I might be mistaken, but I think the album that you buy now comes with all 3.
Now, I bought it, like, on, like, off of iTunes, and then I've had it before, like, and on the album, and it actually didn't have any of the songs on it. Any of the bonus songs.
Yeah.
Except, the dog song, which that was a part of the main album.
Yeah.
And it was all the other ones after that. But I think like one of them was
Dude, it's starting to rain.
Well,
let's see how
it's
bad
starting
it
to
gets.
rain. So sorry about the little cut. We actually got caught in the rain, as you saw. So now we're on to our favorite Blink-182 album. And like I said, this list will probably change next week. I know it probably will for me. So we're going to talk about our favorite album as of right now as we're sitting here. Toby?
Number 1. So, number 1 album right now would have to be Dude Ranch for me. And that's just because, I mean, when you listen to the album, the opening song, which is Pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like heavy hitting from the start. And then it even finishes off nice with, like Josie, like being track number 10 on there. And every song after that too, Lemmings, Degenerate.
Josie
again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forget. You already mentioned that.
Yeah, that's just it's a really cool ending to an album, because whenever you see Blink do sound checks, especially back then around 95, 96, when they wrote those songs, they would always do sound checks to those, and I always felt like it was their personal favorites too. Probably like Scott Raynor's Last Days as being the drummer for Blink. That was definitely what fitted the band the most, their sound at the time.
It's a great sounding album. It starts off like, with Pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we were just talking, like, if there's one thing Blink knows how to do, it's they have some badass opening songs for their albums.
Of course.
And it's a great album. And when did it come out? Did it come out like 96?
96, because I mean that's where Damn It is on too. And my actual memory of it, it was I got it from Target, like during
Was it an edited version?
No, it was Christmas holiday 1999 when we were out of school.
Yeah.
And I had like an extra, like, I don't know, $15 in my pocket, and I rode my bike up to Target, and I even remember the salesman, or the sales kid, whatever, in the electronics section. He was like, I'm not supposed to sell you this, but, and it was one of those greatest hits albums.
Mm-hmm.
So like it wasn't one of those CDs that were like Enema of the State at the time was like $18.99.
Yeah.
This was on sale for $9.99.
It was you said it was like it was like a compilation album?
No, it wasn't compilation. It was just like they already called it a greatest hits, or it was just older.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I bought some other albums that were cheaper at the time too, like BC Boys, like their older albums, things like that. They would be on sale between anywhere from $6.99 to $9.99.
Yeah.
And that's how I actually bought Dude Ranch. And when I first got it in the beginning, I didn't really know any of the songs except for Damn It, but as I listened to the album over the years, it just really grew on me.
It even has that Star Wars song on it.
Which one?
I always forget the name of the song. Isn't it like New Hope?
Yeah, New Hope.
Yeah, and it has like a bunch of Star Wars references like in it.
Mm.
But
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that like Target used to have like really good deals and all that kind of stuff. Like they used to have some really good deals on CDs, and I remember buying. I mean, I know I burned a lot of albums from you, but I remember going there and buying, Blink and Green Day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they did have that greatest hits kind of section. It was like
it's not like there was any difference in the CD itself that had that said or whatever greatest hits. I think it might have had a sticker on the wrapper.
Yeah.
But I mean the CD itself was just like the original.
Yeah. So, my favorite as of right now is Enema of the State. Now, if you would have asked me last year, I would have said California was my number one favorite. But right now, I'm going through like my Enema of the State kick again, and it's just an epic album. To me, it's like Blink when they're in their prime, and it's because I think, they got that record because didn't they have like a whole new record deal for that record?
Yeah, they went to, what was it, Interscope?
Yeah, Interscope, and so like it was their first big like album that actually had like a bunch of singles. And I mean, Damn It was a single, and technically wasn't Josie a single?
Yeah, on Dude
off
Ranch.
of Dude Ranch, but like it's like this album they knew they were gonna have singles off of it, and so like.
Well, the first one was What's My Age Again.
Yeah, it was What's My.
And then it went to All the Small Things.
Yep, and then Adam's Song.
Adam's Song, yep.
And it's that's the same year that American Pie came out, and that one song on there, Mutt was on American Pie. They were in American Pie.
Yep. And
they were like on MTV. They were all over the place. But the album itself is like spectacularly produced from like beginning to end. It opens up. I always forget names of songs. I know the songs by heart, but I always forget that. What does it open with?
I can't remember the song name off the top of my head. No, that's Dude Ranch.
That's Dude Ranch, yeah.
Because on Enema of the State, it's
Dumpweed.
Dumpweed, yeah, that's a song.
And just every song, I'm not gonna lie, like when I listen to it, I actually like skip Adam's Song sometimes, just because it's there was a point in my life where I listened to that a lot, especially like if I was a teenager and there was a breakup and you felt depressed. That was like your like really emo song to like listen to if you're like down. But I still love it, but I always kind of keep that jolly good spirit going, and I always kind of skip over that song.
Wow.
Do you?
No, I listened to that one. I always skip All the Small Things because that one was just like way too overplayed.
No, I do skip All the Small Things usually. I usually go for all the songs, even What's My Age Again, all the songs that weren't singles, I'll just like listen to them all straight.
Because for the longest time, my favorite song off that album was Aliens Exist.
Yeah, it's still one of the best Blink songs in my opinion. And of course it finishes with Anthem.
Part 1.
Now we say Part 1, but...
Back then it was just Anthem.
Yeah, and Anthem is such an amazing song. But that was like their album that like they just blew up on. And that was, the album where they talk about where that's where the money really started rolling in for them. That's when they were selling out.
They actually did, like
stadiums and all that kind of stuff. And of course, Travis Barker
joined the band.
That's
what gave them their unique sound too.
Yeah,
I mean, I would definitely have to credit him for that.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that is definitely my favorite Blink album right now. I mean, like I said, last year I would have said California, 2 months ago, I would have said the Mark, Tom, and Travis Show, which is also another great live album.
See, like if we're going to talk about number 4, oh God, there's not even, I would be undecided for a very long time because there's so many good albums. It was hard enough just for me and Ryan to even figure out our top 3, and like we said, it's just at the moment.
Yeah, and so if there's any other people that are watching this that like Blink, make sure you guys like leave comments down below. What are your top 3 favorite Blink albums? And if there's some other topics you want us to talk about, leave them down below, and we'll definitely address them in future videos. So I guess that's it for this topic.
Yep.
Toby, once again, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.